Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
I'm Ed Zackery, Director of the Medina County Veterans Service Office. Welcome to Salute to Service, a show about Medina County and our veterans. What we hope to capture in this program are some of the many achievements, heroic deeds, and sacrifices of our past and present warriors from here in Medina County. We also hope to highlight the many accomplishments that they have continued to make as veterans right here in our community. Again, welcome to Salute to Service. Today we're at the Wadsworth Senior Center, and I'm sitting here with Stan Wolczyk, correct?
That is 100% correct.
Got your name right. Stan, World War II veteran, correct?
Correct.
Army?
Army.
Which division?
37th Division, 32nd Infantry.
HUA. All right.
All right.
Good to have you here, Stan.
Thank you for inviting me.
Going back to getting into the service, World War II, did you go right out of high school, or were you already out of school when you?
No, there was a program that the government was maintaining. It was called the CMTC. That was letters for Civilian Military Training Camps. And I joined that.
All right.
And what you did there was participate in military activities at one of the Army bases. In this case, it was Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana.
You went in the military before World War II kicked off, correct?
I was in the reserve, yes.
In the reserve, right. Because you're 94 years old? 95?
94.
94.
And raring to go.
All right. So, tell me a little bit about your experience. You know, once the war started, obviously you were in the reserves. The war starts, December 7th.
All right.
Pearl Harbor.
I'll give you this story, since you're listening. In July of '41, I received a letter from Uncle Sam saying, "Would you like to go," the terminology, "to the Philippine Islands for a 2-year extended service?" I thought, wow, I never left the state. Isn't this the ideal time to go? The only problem was I was going to get married, and I didn't think my new bride would appreciate me sneaking off that soon. But the second letter I received, they didn't give the nice terminology. They said, report to Fort Hays, Columbus, for a physical. If you made the grade, they send you to Fort Benning, Georgia, for refresher in infantry tactics and so forth. That's how that all began.
And that's what happened. Where'd you get stationed once Pearl Harbor happened? You went to the 7th Division at that point, or?
After I completed the service at Fort Benning, they sent me to the 7th Division, which was in San Luis Obispo, California. That's where it was.
Fort Ord, wasn't it?
And then from there, we transferred to Fort Ord.
Now, 7th Infantry, they were trained for South Africa.
I'll give you the story. You'll love it.
Okay.
We have to get a little background, otherwise you'll miss the point. Rommel was chasing the British all over Africa. Their government asked ours for help, so they decided to send General Patton to Africa. Now, he never had any training, that's the point. So they sent him to our desert, the Mojave Desert. Mm-hmm. That's where I stole 12 of his tanks. That's what they accused me of. Also, they sent the 7th Motorized Division. We were motorized. Motorized meaning half tracks. So they were sending us there also for training. Now, you're playing war games, they need umpires. So I was selected as an umpire. I spent a whole week learning stuff. They gave me a vehicle, a driver, and 2 flagmen, and they sent me out to judge activities. So I decided to attach myself to a column of tanks moving somewhere. I'm looking for something to do. And we're driving all evening and all night, and I kept asking the driver, I said, can you see? I couldn't see anything. Of course, with the tracks kicking up dust and getting dark. Morning came. There wasn't a single vehicle in front of us, just sand all over the place. And behind me, I had 12 tanks. I thought, somebody's going to get edged for this. It didn't take long. In the distance, you can see dust kind of heading towards our vehicles. Sure enough, it was a command car. And I was interested because I was curious to see who the commander would be so I would know how much heck I would give. And I kept looking. Not only did I see the command car, but I saw a flag in front of that command car with 2 stars on it. It's a commanding general looking for his tanks.
Don't tell
And
me,
if you ever seen General Patton,
he lost his tanks.
well, he said I stole them, is what he said later. If you never seen him, he's a big man. When he got off that command car, I thought he was 8 feet tall. And he was wearing his pearl-handled pistols on both hips. And I think they're that big. And I thought, you know, this guy's going to shoot me, at least. Exactly, I don't know why, but he's going to shoot me. Now, what he said is an exciting thing about this little story. Later on, you know, he got to be blood and guts, and what he said was not in character when whoever it was that was interviewing me. He was looking for problems. Remember later on when he slapped that soldier or something.
Right.
So I had to swear on the Bible what he physically said to me. He said, Lieutenant, if you finish using my tanks, I'd like to have them back. And nobody believed it. Really, physically, that's what he said. And when he was all over, he picked up all his tanks and all our vehicles. We didn't even go. We returned to foot troops.
Now, you guys were training to be foot soldiers in South Africa. I mean, that's what the 7th Infantry was training to do.
Well, we were going to do this, see.
Now,
So now he took all our vehicles. He left us with 1 Jeep for each company, and we went back to foot troops. And we're going over these hills in Fort Ord. Well, there was a reason, apparently, because they knew they needed someone, as we're analyzing it today, this activity up in the Aleutian Islands, which no one has ever heard of. So they were saving us for this particular activity, and that was the idea.
so when you went to the Aleutians, it was kind of a last-minute thing from the Army's perspective, history-wise. They sent you over there with all the gear for South Africa, didn't they?
Well,
They give you any cold weather gear or anything like that to send you over there?
they figured we were going to finish this activity within a couple of days, so they didn't dress us properly.
So first of all, where's the Aleutian Islands at?
All
For
right,
those that don't
Aleutian
know.
Islands, most people don't even know. So my question is, I was on the island of Attu, A-T-2-U. And where's that? It's part of the Aleutian chain, and where's that? It's part of Alaska.
Okay.
Once we get to Alaska and the people. Now, what are the Japanese doing there? How'd they get there? Well, they were going to take over our country by way of Canada, Washington, Oregon, and then California. That should have been the end of the war, they claimed. So they attempted to take the place of an island called Dutch Harbor. Well, the Navy spotted them and chased them. But they were successful in capturing the island of Attu and Kiska. That's how the reason they were there.
So you guys went up there. You went up there on ships to take over Attu.
Well, it's easy to say that because
That's a pretty significant battle up there, though.
well, let's before we get there, how are we going to arrive there? First of all, we didn't even have troop ships to deliver us. They leased a ship from Denmark, an old freighter. They put bunks in the bottom, that's it.
How long did it take you to get up there?
I have no idea how long it's taken. It looked like all year by the time we got there. We stopped at Coal Harbor Bay, it's another bay at the Lucian Chain, assembling all the other ships that were involved in this thing. And then we made the landing, May 11th, 43.
Did you take fire right away, or?
The Japanese were on it's a mountainous island. They were not on the seashore. So we made the landing using boats. We landed with no opposition. But then as we began moving inward, about a mile or two, they were waiting for us, and the fight begins.
How many days did it last?
Well, the total fight was 20-some days, but I didn't last that long. I went up there to do my business. I did my shooting. The only problem was somebody started shooting back. That wasn't that much fun anymore. As I was moving forward, we had an assignment to take some guns away. I came across an American soldier dying on the path. And he was spitting blood, and his chest was completely covered. And yet the worst is yet to come for that soldier. Loneliness is going to overtake him. And loneliness at this point of his life is worse than all his injuries. So I grasped his hand, I gave it a squeeze to reassure him that he's not alone and that the medics were on our way, because they assigned our medics that very morning because we were going in on an attack. He had now acknowledged my presence by squeezing my hand. After he was squeezing my hand, he died. So I left him because the medics were behind. I moved forward towards my objective, and I was involved in a firefight. In the firefight, I was injured.
What happened to you?
So the bullet, well, first of all, nobody's going to believe it. You're going to believe it?
I'll believe it. If you tell me, I'll believe it.
The bullet, you know your physiology.
I know an infantryman wouldn't lie, so go ahead.
I wouldn't lie about this. The bullet hit me in the left scapular, cut the nerve off the left arm, continued upward, injuring the 4th, 5th, and 6th cervical vertebra, that's back in the neck, and then it penetrated my throat, injuring organs in my mouth, and then, you can say, wow, now, I swallowed the bullet.
You didn't spit it out?
And I did spit it out. Well, the president said, bite the bullet. He never said anything about spitting.
So you got a Purple Heart for that?
I got a Purple Heart. So they brought me back. Well, there's a story in itself how this continued before I got aboard the ship and shipped back and so forth. Exactly what was wrong with me, they didn't know until they put me on a train, hospital train, and they shipped us to Texas, to a hospital called McCloskey General. That's when they finally found out what was wrong with me.
What was wrong with you?
Well, all this, the injury to my neck was the big thing. So a docs came in one day, they shaved my head. No wonder why I don't have any hair. And they gave me a local They came with those old-fashioned drills. They call them egg beater drills, and they drilled 2 holes in my head and put a instrument that looked like a pair of ice tongs into my 2 holes that they made, and they extended over to a pulley system.
And you found the problems in your throat. That's amazing.
Amazing, I'm here. I should have been dead 5 times.
It is amazing.
I stayed in the hospital about a year.
I think it's important to recognize too, none of the Japanese came off of that island, did they?
Well, they say, I think we lost 500 dead, 1,200 wounded. They lost 3,000.
Yeah.
They say they had 12 that were surrendered, but I don't know anything about that.
Amazing. So after the war, obviously that was pretty much the end of your service at that point.
They sent me home. They retired me. I came back home. I decided to return to school. I had 1 session at Findlay College. I went to BW, became a teacher, and began teaching. I taught in Europe.
Did you teach at the Dodd schools in Europe?
Yeah, Dodd schools. And while I was there, the super says, I need a principal. So I came back. I flew from Frankfurt to Cleveland 3 summers in a row, put on 18,000 miles to get my master's so I can get that job that he's talking about.
There you go.
So kids are complaining about traveling. I traveled 18,000 miles, and they gave me the job when I arrived.
I mean, it's obvious that some of your experience in the military shaped you. You're a guy full of life at 94 years old.
Well, I was dead 4 times, so I'm not going to be dead 5. So I got to be must stay alive.
How do you think some of those experiences shaped you to be the person you are today?
Better and better. When I talk about it, I feel better every time.
Any regrets?
Never.
Never. Never. I think it's important to mention that almost 50 years after you served in the United States Army, you were honored by being brought into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. How did that make you feel? Sir?
Oh my goodness, I was so tickled pink that someone remembered me. 1995 was the date that I was instituted in a place. And I'm proud to be part of that group. Anything else?
Any closing statements you want to make?
Closing. Smile. Everybody smiles. And you'll all live to be 94. Oh, you got it?
Stan, I want to thank you for coming by today and sharing your story.
Oh, you're quite
welcome. Oh, good to shake an infantryman's hand.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country, stand for something bigger than ourselves, and protect the things we love. Although we were ready to face any mission, help those in need, and make a difference, for some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone, even when surrounded by our loved ones.
At the Veterans Crisis Line, we understand what you're going through, and we can help. It's your call.
This program was brought to you by the same men and women that also brought you your freedoms. Thank you for watching Salute to Service.
I'm General Barry McCaffrey. During the Vietnam War, more than 58,000 of our troops did not come home. For every name on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, there's a life story, a story of hopes, dreams, friends, and family. Join me in supporting a new campaign to build an education center on the National Mall that will tell their stories and honor all who served. Call to learn how you can help.